Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com, and welcome to, it's going to be another episode of Watch and Learn. It's not really explaining too much about technical stuff, but we're going to be talking about Seiko watches, in particular the SKX watches. What's the difference between a J watch and a K watch? And for years in the 007s and 009s, I've only sold Ks. I never sold the Js. I did it in Seiko 5s, and my experience is that in the Seiko 5 lineup, the premium that you paid for a J simply wasn't worth it in the quality end. I really didn't see a difference in defect rate or anything. So I've always just held my guns and stuck with the K. But I've been inundated with people that want the J. So finally, I broke down and ordered a slew of 007 and 009J models. I have them here. I'm going to do a side-by-side with the Ks, so the K versus J on the 007 and on the 009. So you can see my take on it, and I'll show you what the differences are. I'm not trying to sell you on one versus the other. I'm going to present you with the facts, and you make the choice. Which one, do you want to get, and what, is the premium worth it to you? That's all I'm trying to do here. And again, so this is watch and learn. This isn't watch and sell, so I'm going to try to teach you a little something. And I've got them here. So let's see, this is the 009, that's a K version. And then I've got a 007, and that's a J version. Hopefully the camera's focusing, yes. So like I said, I've got 7s and 9s, Js and Ks of each. I'm going to put them side by side, and we will talk about them. For my own wrist check, I'm wearing a Orient Pepsi Gen 1 Mako blue dial, and a Seiko video, a Seiko SKX007K. Great little watch. Somebody had said to me the other day, I guess I've heard it mentioned, never really occurred to me, it's like a baby grand Seiko. It is. It's got the shiny points to it. It's got the nice styling. I really dig it. Anyway, so let's get over to the table and check out the SKX Js versus Ks. So I've got 4 Seiko SKXs in front of you. I got 2 009s here and here, 2 007s, all on the rubber strap. I've got K models and J models. What I'm going to do is we'll pick them up a pair at a time and we'll go over them, compare and contrast. I'm not here to tell you which one's better. I'm here just to educate you more on the differences between K and J models, which you'll see is nil. Something to note, I do not believe the J models are sold on the metal bracelet. I believe they're only sold on rubber. So the SKX007J, there's really no J1 or J2. It's just a J, as far as I've seen in my abilities to order. And it comes on a rubber strap. Same with the 009, it's just a J. There's no J1 or J2 like there is with the Ks. If you recall, with the K models, you get K1 is a rubber strap, K2 is on the Jubilee, which is, this, whoops, upside down, which is this 44G1ZZ part that we sell. This will fit all these models that you see. So if you want a J model with a bracelet, you can just purchase this bracelet in addition, and boom, you've got yourself a J model on Jubilee. A mock 007J2, if you will. So here are 2 totally randomly selected 009s. One of them's a J and one of them's a K. I'm not going to tell you which one. My thumb is over the only identifying part. It's pretty obvious to see that, they're pretty much identical from the exterior. I really don't want to move them around too much. I'll after I take my thumbs away, we'll do twisty-turny. But the coloring is the same. The coloring of the bezels is identical. The dials are identical. The lume is identical. The top half of the dial is identical. I literally just reached into each flat and took out one example of each. I didn't check them for anything. So you can make your own determination. I was actually surprised when I turned on the camera and I got a better look at them. So here we go. So the one in my right hand is the J model. And you can tell because it says 21 joules right down here. See that on the bottom of the dial? Under Divers 200, it says 21 joules. And if I tilt it a little bit, all the way next to the 6, made in Japan. So this is the SKX009J. Okay? And the one I had over here, this is the SKX009K. This happens to be a K1 because it's on rubber. and you look, there's no 21 joules below the diver's 200, and if you can see that fine print, it just says 7S26 on the left and then some other nomenclature on the right. Other than that, the watches appear to be identical. Coloring, bezel action, 120 click bezel, same deal. We'll flip them around and we'll check out the case backs. So again, this is the, I already forgot, this is the K one. You can look, you can see the serial number, Scuba, Seiko SKX009, Seiko S7S26, and then the case code, the 0020, stainless steel. And then, but if you flip the 9 over, the 9 actually has Japan on it, written here. So you can see that this one is indeed made in Japan. What was interesting to me is that, I want to show you a little something. If you look at the serial numbers, the camera focuses, this one's a little backwards. You see both serial numbers start with 6D and then the 4 numbers after. So serial numbers with Seiko, the first digit is the year of manufacture. In this case, the 6 means 2016. Why it's not 2006 is a little deeper, and that has to do with the version of movement that's inside. So it's a little bit of sleuthing, but that, just so you know, that means 2016. After that, we see a D. D for them is December. These were produced same month, different factories. That's why I want to pick these up and really do the in-depth on these, because they're clearly made in the same month of the same year in different factories, but you know, hopefully parts are pretty much the same. The 007s that I've got were not in the same, no, not as close as these two are. So again, in all aspects, they're pretty much the same watch, except for that dial marking. You know, the loom is the same, the application is the same, the strap is the same. It's this 4FY8JZ or whatever strap that we sell with the wave pattern in it. Same on both watches. Here it is. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is, again, the J is made in Japan. That's the only difference. The movement inside is also made in Japan, and the watch is assembled in Japan. That's about it. The other one that doesn't have the 21 joules written on the dial doesn't have the country of origin on it. I have seen Malaysia, I have seen Singapore, and lately, I believe on the 007, it might be there. It's got a assembled in Hong Kong sticker right across the blue sticker on the back. So maybe that's where they're making them now. It doesn't really make a difference. It's just not in Japan, and that's it. These are not JDM models. They're not domestic market models. They're just made in Japan. So alternate languages. On this one, it's Spanish. You could take my word for it, or we can just, whoops, flip it. And then on this one happens to be Arabic. It doesn't really matter what the secondary language is unless you're not a native English speaker. But these come in different secondary languages as well. As a vendor, we never advertise the secondary language. There's a reason. It's because we kind of never really know what secondary language we're going to get. I want to show you a little something. This is something you, the customer, never see. This is a flat that the 007s come in. This is the K version. There is a letter after the K, and in this case, it's an S. S is Spanish. I've gotten Fs. Fs for French. I've gotten, and the Arabic one is a Q. So if I have a 007K Q, I know it's Arabic, or a JQ, I know it's Arabic. But this is a letter that's never advertised. It's not on the watch. It's not on the tag. But that's just something interesting for you guys to note and put into the knowledge vault. So the only difference that you're getting is country that it's made in, and that is the premium difference. Right now on the website, I mean, prices change all the time. The Japan one we're selling for around $250, and the non-Japan one around $210. Let's pull up the 007s next, and let's check them out. So I'm not going to do these as in-depth. It's the same deal as Spanish-English and English-Arabic for the day wheels. You've got your K version on the left, your J version on the right. Again, 21 joules on the dial, made in Japan at the bottom. No 21 joules on the dial. No made in Japan, just the 7S26 movement and some nomenclature. Again, same watch, same case. The case backs, same as it was before. It says Japan on the Japanese one. This one, if you're interested, so you have 6/8. So this is 2016 and 8th month of the year. So this is in August. This was made in August of last year. And then the following 4 digits, this is the 112th watch to roll off the line of that factory in August of 16. And then look at this one. So that's the Japanese one. This is the non-Japanese. Look at that sticker on the back. Can you see it? Assembled in Hong Kong. So this is the K1. This is where they're making this one. So this is a 6/4. So this is April of 2016. And then that's the 5,000th watch to roll off, 5,117 watch to roll off the assembly line in that month. So not uncommon for watches to be, about a year old or so. It depends how long they take to work themselves, through the supply chain. But again, both of them identical. So what I'm going to do now is I have another 2 that I removed the back from, and we'll just show you on the inside what the K versus J looks like. So here they are with the backs removed. Japan is in my right. How do we know? If we look at the rotor, it's got Japan just below the central screw that mounts the rotor right there, right above my thumb. It says Japan, and then on this one, it does not. But then other than that, they're the same. 21 joules, Seiko Time Corp 7S26C. So they're all using the latest version of the 7S26 movement. So identical in every regard, except the movement on this one is stamped Japan. So I'm assuming that's going to mean that it is assembled in Japan. Is it all machined in Japan? That I doubt. It's possible. I don't have that kind of depth into the company to find that information out, and I doubt if anyone did, they would even tell you. So that is what is on the inside. So I was going to time these guys and, compare them to the not made in Japan variants, but I really didn't want to because it doesn't matter. The movement is spec to plus 25, minus 15. So if the timing it, and trust me, I did not time them. If the time grapher showed that the K was closer to accurate than the J, well, what does that mean? And if it showed the J is closer than the K, loses more or less, whatever. Well, what does that mean? It doesn't really mean anything because they're both gonna or should operate within specifications. So I really don't want to do timing because I don't think that's conclusive. If I had 100 of each and I did 100 of each, that would be conclusive. But I'm not about to do that. I did want to mention though that, like I said before, they on the 9s especially. So this has color in it. To me, my eyes, I know the light is playing with it, they look to be the same exact color. I'll put the 2 bezels right next to each other, same color. I think if there's differences in colors, that's why I like these 2 because they're so close in manufacture dates. I believe it's going to be die lots. They make these rings. Let's say they make 10,000 rings or 50,000 rings, the bezel insert. They run through them. When they get down to 10,000 left in stock, they order another 50,000 from a factory. Seiko doesn't. I'm sure Seiko doesn't make the insert. Maybe they do, but whatever. When they mix up the dye to do the dyeing of the however it's done, anodized aluminum, whatever it is, to get the color, they just have to meet a certain color swatch. There's a variance. There's a tolerance in it. So it could be off a little bit. And so your bezel insert to someone else's bezel insert from a few years ago, the coloring could very well be just a little bit off. It's like an analog recording. It's not digital. You're going to lose some granularity from production to production. Anyway, so that is the differences between the J's and the K's. So this has been Mark from LongIslandWatch.com, showing you the differences between the SKX series, the J models, and the K models. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to our channel if you have not done so yet. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below, and I'll be sure to address them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.